Well, first of all, anime is fake. Those like children lolly things, those fucking 900-year-old vampires that look like they're 4 years old, the little cum demons that have existed for 2 millennia, but they look like a 6-year-old, those aren't real people. They are animated fake things.
So, bit of a different video this time around. While I don't have any particular traction behind me, I feel as though the more people that cover this, the better. Plus, I don't really like to be called a hypocrite. There are those that are better versed in this situation than I am, so I'll post relevant articles, documents, and Twitter accounts from whom I learnt of this situation from in the first place. This video is essentially going to be talking about the deplatforming of who used to be known as Bungo Taiga, or nowadays TaigaxHolic, just Taiga as I will be referring to them from now on. As of right now, they basically just have a Twitch and a Discord, having been banned on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. While I can't do much on my own, all of you that watch can. And those that do have the power to do so within the VTubing community and outside that are aware of the situation and choose to do nothing, would rather rest on their laurels. So I can do what I can and yap at the microphone for a couple minutes to explain to some of you the absolute dog shit of a situation this is. So, Taiga can be classified as a femboy VTuber. Probably the femboy VTuber, as at the time of their banning, they had like 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. They had quite literally just gotten their play button before they were banned on YouTube, appeal denied, and then got their channel reinstated anyway with an email from YouTube on how they got it wrong. Then hours later, permabanned again. Now removed from basically every site with discoverability, Taiga is at the end of his rope. He was barely making ends meet as it were, even with the TikTok and YouTube thing. Now, well, what with spending so much on their next model, it ain't looking good. And the worst part is that those who allegedly, and I say that in case for legal reasons, contributed to her downfall or abused the system to make it happen are either paraded as heroes, block their ears and close their eyes, or justify themselves with self-righteous bullshit. In order to really understand the depth of the fuckery that the poor lad has gone through, I'll paint you a simple picture of some of the major BS that has happened over the last few years. Again, I'm no investigator or detective, and all I did was my due diligence in reading. While I can paint a picture in broad strokes, I encourage you to form your own opinion and understand the undeserved bullshit being thrown at this fella for no fucking reason. All resources will be linked in the link tree below. Yo, quick side note I realized after finishing the video, maybe do not witch hunt everyone that's mentioned in this video. Please do not. That would look terrible on me, terrible on you, and it's just generally not a good time. Let's just, acknowledge that mistakes were made and then move on from there. Okay, bye-bye. Alright, post-Rize out. So, it all started with the original crucifixion of Taiga. Around 2 years ago, a document allegedly constructed by two individuals named Gilk and Arzi was released. The document in question contained a whole smorgasbord of accusations, with the most focus being placed on, and the document starting with, calling Taiga an excessive child lover. Of course, I ain't even gonna begin to attempt to humor the document as a legitimate article. The evidence within is easily dispelled by Taiga, his moderator, and a private anonymous investigator who linked an entire breakdown of the allegations. While you can debate whether Taiga is a freak or a degenerate or blah blah blah, whatever, that's not illegal, nor is it being discussed right now. With the document itself being phony, and it now being wiped off the face of the internet, we can also take a look at the individuals who had the cojones to put that bullshit out in the first place. So, Gilk and Arzi were both ex-moderators of Taiga's. Essentially, both of them were spurned by Taiga for not doing their modding duties, making unwanted advances to either Taiga or other members of the server who may or may not have been underage, or admitted in private Twitch chat that they had allegedly slept with a drunk, passed out 18-year-old. So the two of them could probably be described by some as parasocial, parasitic, lazy, predatory, entitled fools who, once reprimanded or called out for their shit, defaulted to taking confidential interactions with Taiga out of context in order to slander or throw dirt at his name. Allegedly. So, for this final piece of work, Adrian. This fella is something special because he is the definition of desperate degeneracy with the side effect of being filthy rich. He has dropped, from what I've seen, around about an entire $250,000 in donations to Taiga, with some unhinged and down cataclysmic donation messages, amongst other things like, I guess it's like a minor thing, so I'll mention it really quickly, but it's really nothing noteworthy. He just flew to Canada and tried to fucking stalk in person, in real life. Brother went international for no reason after this whole thing went down. Taiga's literally trying to mind his own business in the corner, and people are literally going fucking batshit crazy for femboy cock for no reason. Allegedly. It's important to remember that this stalker slash millionaire who donated so much money came around a year after the initial two ex-moderators released that document. They sort of, according to Taiga, attacked while he was weak. So that was the kickoff of the football match. The original documents circulated by the fucking clowns that wrote it. There was a follow-up by Guilt where it basically changed course entirely on the allegations, almost like the originals were fabricated. So bro is just spewing out as much bullshit as humanly possible to smear his she's name, allegedly. Adrian got fucking worse. That brother starts going full psycho, threatening lawsuits or harassment just for mentioning him, as well as threatening Twitch itself for hosting Taiga. Essentially a legal bully who attempts to tie his critics up with a vast fortune in court. Of course, this is like 2 years ago, and it took some time for individuals like the investigative journalist to complete his work, and time for Taiga's modder, Hellsang, to assemble the screenshots necessary to debunk the fabricated claims levied against Taiga. In this time, the usual thing happened where people jumped the gun and drama creators crawled all over this thing like maggots consuming a honey-slathered piece of rotting meat. With the drama came two major content creators who played a part in peddling all of this nonsense and propelling it into a larger, more public eye. Now, that's not to say they are solely responsible or their audiences are largely responsible for the following shit show, but just because you didn't start the fire doesn't mean you didn't fan the flames. So, picture this. 2 years ago, Nuxtaku decides to gab about Vtuber drama with another YouTuber, Moist Critical, for a collaboration. Of course, the moist one doesn't really keep up with that part of the industry, so it's like a neutral outside perspective kind of video. Sounds harmless, right? Well, wrong. In a blink and you'll miss it moment, Nux decides to drop a bomb about Taiga, straight up labeling him as a nonce, full stop at the end, not even like a bracket, question mark, end bracket, just full stop, nonce. Now, what makes this even worse is that he admits he's clueless about the details, but still decides to spit out the accusation like it's an absolute fact. And something like that on a channel as big as Nuxtaku's, on a collaboration with another massive creator, meaning even more exposure on top of Nux's own fanbase, you basically engraved that tag into not only the mind of the moist one himself, but more importantly, to literally everybody who watches the video and beyond. It doesn't matter now that the allegations have been proved utterly false, some asshole will always pipe up somewhere and be like, ugh, he's a groomer. And with that, someone who doesn't know about Taiga is going to read that and say, never heard of him, but I guess I should stay away. Can't believe a nonce like that is on the internet. Indeed, that half-baked claim spread like wildfire, turning into a full-blown shitstorm of slander. Sure, Nux eventually axed that part of the video out after being called out like dozens of times, but not before it racked up views in the hundreds of thousands. Oh, and I've heard like Taiga either looks up to Charlie or watches his streams or something to that effect.
But this is like a YouTuber I grew up watching, and I've spent a lot of time on their channel, and this is probably the only chance I'm ever going to be on their radar, and I don't want the only thing they think of me to be, oh, it's that pedo groomer guy that Nux told me about.
Which, on top of the giant dog shit of a situation, this just ends up being the itty bitty shitty on top. So considering how much he was getting ragged on by some people calling him out for his recklessness, he hops on his podcast to address the mess. Rather than apologize, though, he basically says that he apologized in DMs and that it was his bad and that he always trusts his friends and this mysterious friend is the one that gave him his info. But, of course, Taiga reveals that the apology given is the most backhanded, stiff-sounding, begrudging sorry I've ever heard. He says, and I quote from Taiga himself, "I don't want to spread misinformation, sorry if I did that. Not sorry I fucked up and said an accusation is a truth to hundreds of thousands, including Moist Critical, without doing my due research." He says sorry if, despite the fact that anyone at this point doing the most bare research would know that everything said about Taiga was false, if I ended up doing that. Brother, I'm gonna be real. I think, for what it's worth, if you ain't willing to commit to the apology, you shouldn't have done it. If you don't know what you did wrong, don't apologize until you do, because there's no fucking point otherwise and you look like a fish. And you know, with this fella especially, it strikes me as absolutely bizarre that he's the one that's done what he's done. You see, a year before he does this, he's on the receiving end of his very own witch hunt. I won't go too deep into it, but some people could construe that situation as Nux being stabbed in the back by his friends over at VShojo after probably what he saw as trying to protect them. Kind of unrelated, I just find it ironic that he would be a victim of essentially a witch hunt based on nothing, getting dogpiled by an entire corporation and friends, then receiving nothing but a shite apology in return, only to then turn around and maybe inadvertently and accidentally have the same thing happen to Taiga and then also give a backhanded apology, if you can call it that. More recently, Nux addressed the situation on Kick, of all places, when no one saw anything while he was claiming to be on holiday. Also, I'ma be real, looking at the transcript of where he addresses it, brother was running for his life trying not to to apologize. Irregardless, he uploaded a video on his second channel, Nuxanal. Despite only the last part of the video actually talking about Taiga and him apologizing, it was better than the kick one. The only thing Taiga really wants is, even in private, for Nux to correct his statement on Taiga with Charlie himself, considering the fact that Taiga holds him in such high regard. Not publicly, no statement, just for peace of mind. Alrighty, enter Mariner.
So I think some people here, I'm gonna put this as nicely as possible. Not every streamer is very smart.
Yes, Queen, slay. Ooh, never mind, she's dead. Real quick, let me paint you a picture. So I'm looking for Mariner's Twitter account because I need screenshots and such to back up my points so it doesn't look like I'm just waffling, right? So I look up her name, I can't find her, I'm thinking what's going on, so I swap accounts and I try and look for her again. And then I find her, so I'm like, okay, I'm confused, let me find her at, I type it in on my original account again, and then find out the bitch has blocked me. Baby, I even do nothing yet. Mariner. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not saying her full name, but it might be a name that might ring a bell for some of you. Remember that genius who thought way back when Twitch fucked around with the terms of service for the 23rd time in a row, decided to allow artistic nudity. So she thought she'd outsmart the system by jiggling about and waving the bare baps. Yeah, that backfired spectacularly, earning her a whole day in Twitch jail. Or you might remember her for her Hogwarts Legacy crusade, which I will leave at that because that's all the preamble you will need. Because what matters right now is what she had to do with Taiga. This chick has been gunning for Taiga since day one like a dog with a bone, and that's the only way I know how to put it. We're talking full-on hate boner here. She spread screenshots like they're gospel, trying to play gatekeeper of the Vtuber community and basically doing everything short of hiring a skywriter to say Taiga bad. 4 screenshots, a document which no longer works, and a link to another Twitter post with a document that also no longer works, which contains much of the same allegations and evidence that Gilk had, which we know now have been debunked as false, doctored, as claimed by Taiga, taken out of context or legit, and have been apologized and accounted for. Hell, according to Taiga, she vents to her staff and her friends about Taiga, man. What the shit? A whole voice call session spent ranting about some bitch she ain't even met yet. A year and a bit later, Mariner addresses a bunch of the allegations levied against her, ranging from the Hogwarts Legacy bits and the whole Taiga thing. Quick side note here, that's some fucking bullshit, because if that's the case, why am I blocked? Suck your nut! Her main shtick there is that she plays the I'm just sharing my opinion card while simultaneously trying to nuke someone's career and banish them into the Shadow Realms. The whole I never accused him of any crime shtick. Yeah, bro, yeah, you're literally dancing around the accusations while making sure everyone gets the implication. It's like saying, I'm not saying that you're an asshole, I'm just saying that you have a lot in common in terms of appearances and mannerisms with an asshole. She claims that she sent the document that was originally created by Gilk and RZS to not send screenshots out of context. While she says the individuals in question now seem problematic, neat way of brushing a whole canvas of shit under the rug, she claims that it doesn't make the screenshot any less fake, despite the clear and obvious malicious intent behind the document and the fact that the exoneration document released by the PI, as well as Taiga himself, clearing the air on basically all of them. And now, finally, we have the last knut in this story. Vintage Base Archives. Or apparently his name is Dylan Law, but he's arguably the man who, and I put this in quotation marks, got Taiga banned. He basically admitted to mass reporting Taiga's YouTube channel and getting his ass terminated there. But his MO, wow, this guy has more goddamn faces than a bloody dodecahedron, because I don't understand for the life of me, because his consistent reasoning is not consistent at all. There is no reason, he's just doing it because he feels like it. The fella woke up one day and decided, I'm gonna play internet vigilante. His grand plan? Mass report Taiga's YouTube channel because reasons. According to an interview had with him, his first line of argument was that he did it against the haters. Basically, he left a comment and people didn't like it very much, so they called him out on it. He wanted to, quote, rip Taiga right out of their feeds. So he does that by mass reporting Taiga himself. Then he switches gears faster than the NASCAR pit crew, realizing that his position was no longer tenable, forgetting that YouTube isn't his personal playground and he might want to check if he's not the pot calling the kettle black. He pulls out some pedantic bullshit of, I didn't take out Taiga's YouTube, YouTube took Taiga's YouTube, forgetting the fact that he flagged like 50 videos and bragged about it. And what's hilarious here is that he pulls on his Daredevil mask thinking he's acting tough and basically threatens to go after other lewd tubers as well. But lo and behold, what do we find in his own playlists? Lewd content. His excuse? I'm not paid to report everything. Alright, yeah, sorry, my bad. Didn't realize being a hypocritical asshat was a fucking part-time gig. He complains about lewd content on YouTube, but then saves that shit to his personal playlist to watch later. But the pièce de résistance has got to be that this fucker has 18 plus depictions of Taiga on his Facebook. When called out for the 10th damned inconsistency in his damn logic, he tries to gaslight his way into a gotcha move. Aha! So you admit it's 18 plus. I knew it! Brother, you put that shit on your profile! I legitimately can't tell if this guy is for or against content like this because he's mass reporting, not reporting, reporting on some, wanting to get them unbanned and then ban someone else, then posting shit like this that like it's no problem, opposing all that gross shorter shit, and then asking for the source of one on Reddit. And I gotta censor half this shit because what the bejesus. Simply put, vintage-based archives is very clearly nothing more than a question-dodging, morally bankrupt, logic-defying dumpster fire of a human being. He's got more double standards than a politician's conventions and about as much integrity as a wet paper bag. Oh, and there's one other person we should mention. Person that reported Taiga's Twitter account, but that fuck is a quivering pussy. He bragged about mass reporting Taiga's Twitter account and then decided to follow in his own father's footsteps and vanish without a trace. Also, equated fiction with real life. Absolute fucking dumpster fire. Now, this video is going to probably come out by Saturday, but it was written on Monday with bits and pieces being added onto it as events progressed. As of right now, when the script enters its final phase, it's probably going to be Friday the 17th of August. On Thursday, another reckless runt entered the field, a person known as Hex Juice. So, Hex, from what I can see, is a relatively new VTuber as they've only been around or creating content for around 7 months. Unlike me, man's been around for like 6 years, basically a veteran at this whole thing, you know, big man content creator. Ignore that I was getting milk for years, like 5 years specifically. Anyways, they jumped in, probably maybe a little bit under-prepped in terms of their understanding of the situation, because it led to them getting some facts wrong. While they claimed that Nux's apology was ass, which they were probably correct on, they also suggested that Taiga's ban made sense and was not at all the fault of the stalker who was mass flagging, indeed perpetuating the idea that he was already on his second strike. Since Taiga's ban, Taiga set up a GoFundMe for the expensive legal fees to challenge the decisions made on YouTube. Hex suggested that as the ban was just, the GoFundMe was some sort of scam or something. It's not like lawyers cost money or anything. Generally speaking, their facts were a bit shit, but Hex has since deleted the video and apologized for getting some of the stuff wrong and doubling down on other parts. Thankfully, Taiga has addressed this stuff on his latest stream where he understandably expressed frustration on the constant and unending wave of misinformation on his name. It's perpetual for him. Poor Taiga's over here playing whack-a-mole with misinformation. Every time he squashes one rumor, another one pops up. It's like a never-ending game of bullshit bingo, and Taiga's card is always full. And hell, every time there is a wave, Taiga claims there's a select member of the community who crawls out of the woodwork and slanders his name and goes quiet whenever those facts are disproven. The reason why is unclear, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Chief. It's probably just jealousy. You might not like me for the following words, but I'm gonna keep it 100% honest with everyone. Now, parasocial relations are not a unique phenomenon in the VTuber community. Happens across the streaming space, right? But it's special in the case of VTubers because, to put it simply, having an avatar of a cute anime person is a lot easier to form an unhealthy relationship with due to its detachment from reality. Hell, the illusion is part of the whole allure. Now, I'm not saying this is true for all VTubers everywhere, but I am saying that there is a strong element. What this means is that in communities you might have poor sods in the audience who are so starved of real human connection that they'll latch onto streamers who may or may not be feeding into it and try to form some sort of attachment with them by deluding themselves into thinking that they're streaming for them specifically. Like in Taiga's case, we get motherfuckers who feel entitled to Taiga's attention, right? I class them under that same category of parasocial crazies. The reverse is also true. Some VTubers are either evil and see that kind of thing as a quick way to getting a fiercely devoted and large but entitled fan base, or they're also so attention seeking that they feed off the needy energy like parasites. What I'm trying to get at here is that if you're not a bird of a feather in the sphere of nasty parasites, you tend to get pruned. That's my take, anywho. In any case, Taiga forgave Hex, so that's all there is there. And now, from what I know, we're all up to date. Taiga remains banned on both Twitter and YouTube, killing his discoverability and crippling his ability to pay his bills. The brother has been cornered by successive and non-stop attacks on his characters by malicious actors who bully, who lie, who tarnish out of spite, or by some twisted morality, or by those who speak without knowledge or forethought and then refusing to acknowledge the hurt caused for 2 years. In reality, this isn't about whether you like fanboys or you think lewd content belongs on YouTube or not. This isn't about whether the lolly or shota tag disgust you or not. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of either of those, and fanboys are not exactly up my alley either, but it's not about that. This isn't about Taiga's taste or his model or his content. What this is about is a person who has been forced to crawl through hell because of the actions of a few petty, disgusting human beings who can only hope to destroy, attempting to cloud the reality of the situation by throwing out bullshit justification. To allow a person to be deplatformed like this for no good reason, to allow a select few to abuse systems designed to protect its viewers first, is vile and should be treated as such. Allowing Taiga to be unfairly taken out back and put down like a dog will only serve to encourage more people that they can get away with harassing, stalking, lying about others online, and it should never have happened to him in the first place. But yeah, that's about it. I'll link all the evidence and such that I use down below, as well as Taiga's Discord. Hopefully YouTube course corrects. Subscribe or I'll do something.